Hi, my name is Brian and I'm the HiPop Professor. And today in this video, well, it's in July and the Nationals coming up. We are just past the midway point of the year, and so I wanted to take today to reflect a little bit on how this year has gone. What I would like to do is, as people are preparing for the National, now to be fair, I'm not actually attending the National this year, but that being said, people are thinking about lists. They're thinking about selecting targets, picking out what they're looking for as this time approaches. And I've been doing the same, albeit, on eBay and by other means than attending the National. And so what I would like to do is a couple things, twofold. I would like to, number one, share my progress in how my collecting bonsai has been looking, how I've made progress on my branches of my bonsai tree, and also what my future pickup targets are currently looking like for each of those branches. So we're going to go ahead and turn the camera around a little bit. We're going to take a look at some of the pickups I've had this year in a very rare pickup video. We'll call this a semi-annual pickup video. And I do anticipate this one being quite a bit bigger than the second half of this year's pickup video, just because I'm slowing down on selling cards, at least on eBay. And so I'll be working with a reduced resource pool, let's say, moving forward for the rest of this year. So anyway, let's turn the camera around. Let's take a look at some cards, and I'd love to share with you what I'm actually targeting. And hey, if you happen to see any of these cards out there, or you know of someone who has one and they are willing to let go of it, hey, send me a message, send me an email, and that would be great. So let's go ahead and turn the camera around and look at some cards and see what is on my want list. Okay, so as for my collection and my targets, my goals, I have pretty much 4 big branches in my collecting bonsai tree, and there's a bit of an overlap between those branches. And so we're going to go sort of in order, branch by branch. And the first branch we'll look at are going to be some pickups from my Greg Maddux refractor project. And so refractors, basically I was trying to get every Playing Days refractor from Finest, from Topps Chrome, from Bowman's Best, and from Bowman Chrome, with Maddux depicted as a Brave. I was mostly just going for main, base set refractors, not particularly insert refractors. That's kind of a different thing, and so I don't have to target the 98 Finest The Man refractor, for example. That's not even on my list. But that being said, there are some really cool ones anyway, like this one I picked up. This is from 2001, Topps Chrome, and of course it's got Maddux, Clemens, and Cy Young, and so I just really like this. I have a Cy Young refractor now, which sounds kind of wrong, but there's also another one I do want that's called Batter Bafflers, from this exact same insert refractor set that has all the Braves pitchers. It has Glavine, Smoltz, Maddux, and I want to say Millwood is on there. But anyway, so that's probably one I would like to pick up if I do see it. This one, 96 Topps Chrome. And this is a Star Power. It's just a regular card. It's a subset refractor, which is still part of the main set. But yeah, this is one that I got earlier and sent it into PSA in my last order. Came back a mint 9, which is really, really tough grade for 96 Topps Chrome. Really satisfied with that. Very happy with it. Pumped that I got that one. Then we have 99 Bowman's Best Atomic Refractor. Woo! And this one, I was also lucky to pick up. Also a subset, the Best Performers subset. Very tough to tell this refractor, the Atomic, from the regular this year. It also does have the cracked ice that the 98 has, but it's more subtle. Only you can really see it in these the detail around the edges here of this home plate, and in the name as well. You can see there is cracked ice refractor, not just the regular refractor. This one is also numbered out of 100. So there is that. So very pleased to have gotten this one as well, and it's also in a PSA Mint 9. All right, also from 2003 Finest, we got this Gold X-Fractor. Really happy to pick this one up, and this one is also in a PSA Mint 9, numbered out of 199 on the back. Huge pickup. Really pleased with this one as well. And this was one I got actually, I think, the first of the year. I think this was my first pickup of the year. And this was an auction that ended on January 1st. And I was able to acquire this one, and I sent this in my last grading order. And this Red X-Fractor from 04 came back a PSA Mint 9. And this one, although it's unnumbered, I do believe there was a print run of 63 on this one. So really happy about this one. Very pleased that it came back with that grade. I kind of thought it might be an 8, but I was wrong. They gave me a 9. So as for the other refractors that I'm targeting, this is mostly most of the pickups that I've acquired this year. There was one other black refractor that I was able to pick up from, it was actually sent off in my last grading order. So I did a little analysis video with it. It was an 03 Topps Chrome black refractor. So it's one that's not pictured here, but really happy with that one. We'll see what PSA does with it. I suspect it'll come back probably like an 8, maybe even a 7, but we'll see. As far as other ones I'm still missing, I am missing an 02 Topps Chrome black refractor numbered out of 50, and so that's on my list. Also a 2001 Bowman Chrome gold refractor out of 199, much like this one's out of 199. Missing that one, that's on my list. And then an 02 Bowman Chrome gold refractor is also numbered out of 50, and so I'm missing those. So those are I haven't really ever seen them even. I've seen the black refractor once, but I haven't seen any of those Bowman Chrome gold refractors. So anyone sees any of those or gets any leads on them, let me know. At the moment, I'm not even sure I have enough funds to really properly go after them, but at some point that will solve itself, and when it does, I'll be ready to make some more serious offers on cards like that. Now, the other thing about this too, I was considering about the Heritage Chrome from 03 and 04, and I have one of them. I'm missing the 03 Topps Heritage Chrome refractor and the 04 Heritage Chrome black refractor out of 50. I'm actually considering trimming that branch off of the bonsai. Topps Heritage and Heritage Chrome just don't really have the nostalgia for me. I had stopped collecting by about 2000. And so, I appreciate the older set designs of some of the 50s and, cards that they have in the early Heritage sets. But, it's probably just not something that I would want to continue to pursue. All right, as far as the second branch of my bonsai tree, we have the most plenteous one with the most pickups in it, which is basically really awesome Greg Maddux 90s inserts. And I've got a bunch of them that I've been able to pick up this year, and I have even more that are on my list to target, to look out for as the year progresses. And so let's take a look at what I was able to pick up here so far. So we have this beautiful Leaf 97. This is a fractal matrix, and this is it's an X-axis die cut. Really tricky with the bright gold foil to get edges that are looking really sharp and really good condition. And this largely is. This is an excellent example of this card. Really pleased that I was able to acquire this one. And one of the other things I like to get, and you'll see this within this stack, I've been really putting together a bunch of early 90s parallels that are like 1 per box tier parallels. I think there's an opportunity there. We're talking about like artist proofs, press proofs, gold signatures, first day production, first day issue, those kinds of cards. They really speak to me in a way because of the huge set size, but the relative tough pack odds of getting just one of them is that the true odds are kind of astronomical to get them. It's also tough to get them in high grade, like a PSA 8 or higher. And so that's largely what I'm looking for. So within this stack, you're going to see quite a few of those types of cards. And those are also ones that I'm slowly targeting. Even if they're not like big expensive cards, they might be between $5 and $20, somewhere in that neighborhood, 10, 12. And so if I see them and the condition and the price meets my eye, I'll pursue them. And so this was one just like it. In fact, I had one that had about 3 of these exact card. This one I already had. This was not a new pickup. But just for reference, we have the artist proof, then we have the white border artist proof, and they both have this artist proof stamp on them. And this was a new acquisition for me, same image from this 97 score set, and this one with the red foil and the crazy hollow foil waves across the front here. This is the Platinum Team set. And you can tell it does say Platinum Team on the back. One of the ones that I am still missing and would like to keep an eye out for is one that looks just like this, but instead of silver hollow foil, it's gold waves, and usually they're going the other direction. And those gold waves like this, that is called the Premier Club. And so the Premier Clubs are way, way, way tougher to get than these. A lot of people don't know about them, and so they're not as well known, but I am looking for that. So also, we have another one this is from Zenith, Pinnacle Zenith, and this is an artist proof. As you can tell by the stamp here, we get the holofoil name. So yeah, this is from 96 Zenith. I believe it's 96 anyway. Yeah, 96 Zenith, that's right. And yeah, this is, it's a subset, honor roll subset. They have a base card as well that's not landscape orientation. But yeah, this is the kind of card, if I see this for $8, sure, I will snap it up, I will pick it up. I showed some of these first day productions in my grading analysis video. But yeah, picked one up from 93 Stadium Club. This is from Series 1, depicted as a Cub. From Series 2, depicted as a Brave, first day production. And Series 3, also depicted as a Brave. And these were big sets. Here's card 750. If they had like 250 cards in every set, and so you figure one per box and getting a first day production times like 250 players per series, that's tough to land your guy. I'm sorry. And so it's I feel like there's an opportunity here. This was one from 94 where they changed it from first day production to first day issue, but same sort of idea. And so really happy to pick up this one. Here's a collector's choice gold signature, and it's tough to tell often with these are also one per box. They vary between 1 in 24 packs and 1 in 36 packs. And in fact, this particular kind with the playing card with the rounded corners, these did not even come in silver signatures. They were only just, most of them had no signature on them at all, but then they had the rare gold signature ones as well. So anyway, there's one of them. You make the play. I believe this was 95 Upper Deck, collector's choice. Yeah, 95, that's right. All right, and so here's yet another. Now actually, I think I may already have had this one. I pulled it out because I did acquire one, but I acquired a graded one. So we'll get to that in a second. Oh, this one I just showed in my recent video, my big recent white whale video here. But yeah, here's a branch I would like to pursue. And this is the 98 Donruss Collections. This is the prized collection where it's refractored. So Donruss Collections, kind of a strange insert set where you had basically 4 different sets earlier in the year that Donruss had put out. They had the regular Donruss, they had the Leaf, they had the Donruss Elite, which is this one, and then they had the Donruss Preferred. And they basically renumbered the entire set. So when you see card number 5 on here, that's just what Maddox's card number was in the Donruss Elite set. But in the Donruss Collection set, he's card number 405. And you see the PC there for prized collections. That's their refractor, was what they really mean there. But as you ascend the totem pole of I guess you would call it the premier, the prestige of each set, these prize collections get tougher and tougher to find, and the print runs get lower and lower. So the Donruss cards, I believe they had a print run of 560. They're not serial numbered, but they made 560 of those Donruss prized collections. The Leaf prized collections, they were down to 400. These Elites were down to a print run of 220, and the Donruss Preferred are the toughest, having a print run of just 55 cards. And what makes this trickier too is that, so I would like to acquire the entire run of all the prized collections. So I do want the Maddox from the Donruss, the Leaf, the Elite, which is this one, and the Preferred prized collections. The problem is Maddox happened to be involved in a couple subsets for each of those. So he has 2 cards out of Donruss, he has 2 cards out of Elite, and 2 cards out of the Preferred, unfortunately. And so those are going to be tricky to take a look at. But yeah, so we've got that one in any case checked off. Let's move this light a little bit. All right, then we have the very first artist proof ever created. This is it, 94 Pinnacle. I've been looking for a better conditioned copy of this one. The edges all got kind of chewed up. I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah, keep an eye out for an upgrade in that particular case. But yeah, this is the first ever artist proof ever made, which is funny because, again, this was the same set that had the museum collection for the first time with all that beautiful Dufex. And that museum collection looks way better than this golden artist proof stamp that's really easy to miss. All right, we also have this one. This was the 95 Score Gold Rush redeemed with the Pinnacle stamp in it. I made a video about this. Really happy I was able to pick this up this year, and I got it for a way better price than I think I had any right picking that up for. And then I got a couple of these other inserts. Some of these I only picked these up because they were less than the cost of grading. So I picked up this beautiful 96 Flair Diamond Cuts, a really beautiful card in a PSA Mint 9. And I just love it. It's about a 1 per box insert. And for Flair, you know, it was a higher end product. So I like shiny things. I like refractors. This has a little speckle shine in the background, and I love it. So there we go. Pick this one up. Essence of the Game. I actually already have this card, but this was a gift from my brother Iconic Al. So I was able to pick this up. Ah, yes, here's the one I got. So I got this gold signature from Collector's Choice 95. This was the best of the 90s subset. Of course, Maddox was on a whole bunch of subsets in Collector's Choice, and that's okay. But same thing, I picked this up for less than the cost of grading, and it's a PSA Mint 9, which just seems kind of absurd to me. That's way undervalued, and so I went ahead and grabbed that. This card, I have not shown this one. This is really cool, from 97 Fleer. This is from the Gaudy Greats insert set, which was not a tough insert to acquire, but they also had a variant. They had a parallel of that insert that had the gold nameplate and the gold logo up here, which that was the only indication that this was anything special or out of the ordinary. So this card with the gold foil, the gold Gaudis, they are 1 in 800 packs, yes, of 97 Fleer. So they are like really tough to get, really tough to find, and when you do find them, they are pricey. And believe it or not, I broke one of my cardinal rules. This is actually a PSA 10. And so this is, and yes, I cover the grade up, but I promise you it is one. I had there was a seller who actually, I lumped this together with a second card they had, and I got, I think, just a very solid deal on a couple cards. And so this is a card that someday I actually might downgrade this. I might sell this 10, and put some of that money towards either a 9 or maybe just a nice looking ungraded one to free up some cash. But that's the plan for that one. I got this 97 Flair Hot Gloves, and this is in a Beckett Mint 9. And this is one of those really cool die cuts. People don't realize about this card, about this set, but this set, the Hot Gloves of this year, had heat sensitive ink, where if you put your finger on the flames in the background, they would change color. There's color changing ink on these cards. Now it's in a Beckett slab, so you can't see that happen, but that's okay. Just one of those cool things about this particular insert set. It was a pretty tough one. I think it was like 1 in 90 packs, something like that. So pretty tough to get. High quality premium set, most known for their masterpiece cards and the legacies. Of course, I'm still boycotting those. But I like this too because the die cut is really condition sensitive. We're talking a lot of points, a lot of corners that stuff can happen to, and I do like this Beckett Mint 9 because it has 10 corners, and it probably literally has 10 corners on it, as Iconic Al was quick to point out. So really neat card. I got this for a very good deal. Very happy about this. I did showcase this one other time, but here's my Star Factor limited exposure from 97 Donruss Limited. Not numbered, but it has a print run of 40. So really pleased, really happy with this card. Absolutely love it. And this is a PSA assigned 8. All right, and then of course some of the biggest ones to finish up the year with. I was able to negotiate a trade with some very strange sort of unnumbered cards that shouldn't even exist really. I traded about 4 of those to get into this Mirror Red from 96 Select Certified. Really happy to acquire this card. This has a unnumbered, but it's a print run of 90 cards. And again, super premium set. There is a peel, I think, on both of these cards, and I'm not going to crack it out and not going to peel it. But this is in a PSA assigned 8, which looks lovely to me. And this is one of the biggest cards I've picked up all year. This is a beauty. This Mirror Blue was put on an auction on eBay, and the seller was PSA itself. So Go figure that one out. Print run of 90 for the Reds, print run of 45 for the Blues. Super happy to have got this PSA 9 for what I think is a tremendous deal. And really happy about this. It's a beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous card. And remember how I was talking about those prized collections and how it was really, really tough to get the elites and even tougher to get the Donruss Preferreds? Well, yeah, you know, So, funny story about this one. I was bidding on this one. In fact, I had put in a mega bid snipe on the end of this one and lost this card, only to find out that my father had actually bid against me and got me this as a birthday present, which I thought was hilarious. So I had originally thought that there was no way. I had missed it out on this, only to find out that that it was him all along. So this is that Donruss Preferred. This is the Preferred Power subset from the Preferred. But again, on the back, you can see it says the Prized Collections 722, even though the Donruss Preferred original numbering was 172 from that. But yes, so I do still want to have the regular base Donruss Collections Preferred Prized Collections, not just this subset one that's, with a print run of 55. Still want that one, and there's also an elite subset Prized Collection that I'm missing as well. So that's on there, and there's a couple other ones. So let's just let's go out with this bonsai here with this bonsai branch. We'll have a couple of these shown on there, and the other cards I'm looking for that sort of fall into this category of awesome Maddox 90s inserts. They include some of the 97 or 98 Donruss signature century marks. And so I'd like to get a nice example of one of the blue century marks, numbered out of 100. I'm looking for a good conditioned one that doesn't really show what touches of white in the corners. I don't really care if it's in a slab or not. I'm just looking for a nice presenting card, particularly on the front. I'm also looking for a nice bold autograph. And that's tough to get. It's a tall order trying to find those, because they are so condition sensitive, and they are just some of the toughest cards to find around. But I think that the value is there, and I think to find a good bold auto would really make a great addition to my collection. In lieu of one of those centuries, I would also take the 98 previews. There's a Donruss signature previews autograph that's yellow. It was never, it was actually in a different Donruss product, but it was a really cool one. I think Maddox had a print run of, I believe he signed 92 of them. So it's marginally tougher to find than the centuries, but there have actually been a couple of those for sale this year, but they've gone for way more. They've ended up selling for like $600-700, and I've been just priced out of those. Also, I am looking for a 98 Pinnacle Epics Moment, Emerald Moment. A print run of 30 on those would be a wonderful target to pick up. There's one on eBay right now for about $200. It does have some damage on the top edge, and so I'm kind of, and if the price comes way down further, and I might consider it, but I'm going to wait for a better copy in general, I think. I'm also looking for 98 Donruss Crusade Purple out of 100. That one also tends to be in that sort of $700 price tier. This seems to be what it does. And so these are some big cards that I have to sort of find a way to sort of get into. And so that's going to be a challenge. A lesser value card that I would like to see is the 97 Pinnacle Inside Diamond Edition. I would love to get one of those. And I mentioned before the 97 Score Premier Club, and I mentioned before the prized collections cards that I don't have. So obviously I'm going to keep working on chipping away on these artist proofs, press proofs, gold signatures, things like that. But there are a couple uber grails, and these are like big cards that I still would like to have. And I mentioned before, beginning of the year, I would like this 97 Pinnacle Certified Mirror Gold Team out of 25. I think is maybe the most beautiful insert I've ever seen from 90s cards. So I am still targeting that, but that's going to be, again, this is one of those yeah right cards. But at some point, maybe in 5 years, that card, might might find its way into my collection. Similar, the 98 Crusade Red out of 25 would be another one I would love to have someday in my collection. And also same thing with 96 Certified Mirror Gold. There was one, a PSA 7, actually sold on Heritage a few months back, and I think it only only went for like 1,900, and I think that was because it was a PSA 7, which is perfect for me. And maybe a 98 PMG, I don't know. We'd have to see about that. So that's branch number 2 of my bonsai tree, my pickups so far this year, and some of my targets. Let's go ahead and move on to branch number 3, which are basically other 90s inserts, primarily featuring this year Tony Gwynn, one of my new branches of my bonsai, but also some Frank Thomas and some Barry Bonds as well, and some Ken Griffey Jr., although I don't have many Griffies, and the couple Griffies I had, I mostly sent in to get graded, and so I don't really have much Griffey to show. But here's the third branch of my bonsai. So here we go. So Tony Gwynn pickups so far. We've got this beautiful Gallery of Heroes from 97. Now, a lot of these cards you'll see in top loaders, these are ones that I'm in the process of making Mag Pro labels for. I've been typing them out, editing them, making them look the way I want, and I'm going to be trying to print some of those out on some 8x10 glossy photo paper and cutting them out and making them look nice. And so I'm giving that a shot. But this is a beautiful one that I got. I actually have, so now I have, this is a Mystery Finest from 98 with, of course, Tony Gwynn on one side and, guess who, Greg Maddux on the other. So it turns out Maddux has 4 versions of this card, I think. There's the Maddux, which I have, the Maddux Gwynn, which I now have, the Maddux Bonds, which was given to me by my dad, and the only last one that exists is the Maddux Ripken, which would be a funny one because Ripken was Iconic Al's guy growing up. So I wasn't originally looking for all of them, but I might as well. I have the other 3, and that would be cool to have the Maddux Ripken. So yeah, I guess that would be a pretty cool one to have too. All right, now 94 SP. We have the Special FX, or in other words, the HoloView Red die cut. And I wanted to get one of these in my collection, and Tony Gwynn was the one that seemed like he was the most affordable out of the guys that I really do like and appreciate and collect. Maddux wasn't in this set for some reason. I don't know. But Michael Jordan was, you know. So anyway, really cool to get the, it's tough to get the hologram and the refractor to show at the same time. Let me change the light on here maybe. Well, now that looks bad. Anyway, but really cool card, iconic card. This set was always huge, even from the day it came out. I'm really looking in the old Beckett's. These cards were always just phenomenal. All right. Then we got this one. I was looking for a really nice Tony Gwynn refractor and a really nice Tony Gwynn autograph, and ended up settling on this one. Really happy with the boldness of this auto, and believe it or not, this might be a card that I might move along, and the reason why is it's not that I don't like the card, but I decided on a different direction. Instead of hitting 2 birds with 1 stone, getting a refractor auto, I picked up a different refractor of Tony Gwynn, which is in the stack later on, you'll see. And if I thought of it as kind of the refractor for Tony Gwynn, you'll see it in a minute. And the autograph that I really want to target, there's actually 2 autographs I really want to target for him, but the more accessible of the 2 would be the 98 SP Chirography Tony Gwynn. I think the 98 SP Chirography set might be the most beautiful autograph set of the 90s. That's my opinion. I don't know that. I mean, it's all subjective, right? But I feel pretty strongly about that opinion. So as beautiful as this is, I might sell this at some point to free up some money to go after something like a PSA 8 or a PSA 9 chirography from 98 for Tony Gwynn, or a nice ungraded one. Look, I don't need it to be graded. I think that if it looks great, like this card was ungraded. This was not, I wanted a beautiful, iconic first ever year of game jersey card in one of my Mag Pro slabs. Yeah, got this Gwynn, and some of the Gwynns, are just sort of blank napkin patches. I got one with a nice pinstripe in there, and so really happy with this one. Only three players in the set. Super tough pack odds, 1 in 800 packs for 97 Upper Deck game jersey, and this was the first ever relic card ever made. And so here we have it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So really pumped that I was able to add this to my collection. And I mentioned before that I got a big Tony Gwynn refractor. This would be the one, 93 finest. So yeah, I figure I've got the refractor for Tony Gwynn in the 90s. And if I get that chirography, I'll have the autograph. And of course, with this card, I've got the first ever game jersey, first ever memorabilia card ever in the series. Because let's face it, Griffey's is a little bit too spendy, to use Adam of Vintage Sanctuary's term. So anyway, so after this one, now I got a couple Frank Thomas cards. Picked up this beautiful 96 speckled Bowman's Best Atomic Refractor Previews Atomic, which I just absolutely love this card in a PSA Mint 9. This is also in a PSA Mint 9. Love it. It does have the BBP, so it's the easier to get of the Atomic Refractors. That's okay. But it was a really good, it was a good buy. It was a good price. I got this for like just about the cost of the grading. Got this for about 25 bucks. So really, really fun pickup. Love this card. Rookie Sensation, 92 Fleer. These were only about one in 4 jumbos, but the jumbo packs were so hard to find. And there was like 20 players in the set here. Yeah, 1 of 20. And these were really condition sensitive cards. So the edges, the centering, the borders, the corners, everything on here. The gold, they weren't used to printing gold on cards like this, so tough to find. This is in a PSA assigned 8, which, by the way, you know, PSA 8s of this card, you know, this card ungraded, you can buy this card for, you know, 10 bucks, no problem. But a PSA 8's gonna set you back probably about 40 or 50, and a PSA 9 sold for like 400. Just to give you some idea about the condition sensitivity with some of this stuff. Okay, we've got a 99 Stadium Club Chrome Barry Bonds. I analyzed this in my first PSA submission video and ended up not sending it in, had some surface scratching on there. One of my pickups I want to get, though, is the Griffey from this set, the 99 Stadium Club Chrome Refractor. It has maybe just the best image of him diving full out for a catch. And, you know, I'm not looking to pick up too many more Griffeys, but that's one where with that card and that image just really speaks to me on a deeper level. And I did buy a lot of 99 Stadium Club packs and ended up getting a few Chrome cards. I don't even think I pulled a refractor. Maybe I did pull a refractor. I'm trying to remember. But those were always a fun cards and fun sets for me to get. Got this First Day Production 93 Barry Bonds Stadium Club. And so it was a fun one. Also, we looked at this one as a grading potential and decided against it. But really great card, awesome condition. And then 2 of the biggest pickups I got were at the very beginning of January with some of my leftover savings that I had from the previous year. And so I picked up this Millennium Marks 97 Donruss signature. And this is in a Beckett Mint 9 Auto 10. And so absolutely phenomenal. Bonds only signed 400 of these cards, so they are pretty tough to get. The numbering for the Millennium starts at 101, goes to 500, because the first 100 were the blue centuries. Okay, and then of course, from the same guy, I got this card, got this one, the 98 Donruss signature. This is a mistake on the label. They say it's 97 Donruss signature. They are wrong. That's this card. This is 98 Donruss signature. Also Millennium Marks, and also a Mint 9 with an Auto 10. So just beautiful, beautiful cards. These dark green borders are so tough to get with the edges and the corners that are good. And so this card has the exact right eye appeal for me. Fantastic condition tier. Really pleased with that. And as far as other cards that I am considering targeting, other cards that I am considering picking up, here, let's put a few of these out here as we're talking about these. There we go. Let's put these on there. And some of the other cards I'm looking for, like I mentioned, I would also like to get a couple cards from various sets that I think are just phenomenal. And so some of those sets I mentioned before about the 98 SP Chirography Gwynn, and I mentioned about the Stadium Club Chrome Griffey. Another card I'd like to get is one of the cards from the 96 Pinnacle Summit Big Bang set. insert set with the Mirage. There's a Mirage variant that has a floating holographic baseball in the background, and I'd like to get maybe a Frank Thomas or a Barry Bonds, one of those guys, because that's just a really cool card. I just absolutely love it. And another insert I'd like to get is one from 97 Score, the franchise. And I have one like this, but they had a variant that was glow-in-the-dark, and I would like a glow-in-the-dark version. Same thing, maybe a Tony Gwynn, maybe a Barry Bonds, maybe Frank Thomas, someone. It doesn't have to be the expensive Griffey. It can be some, but I would like an example of one. Call me a type collector if you want, but yeah, that's what I would like. Something like that to represent that in my collection. And now the final branch of my collecting bonsai tree so far this year that I've made some significant progress with pickups, and I do have some targets on here, are the autographed Diamond Kings. And so really excited. If you watched my last video, you already know it's coming, but that's okay because we're going to show it again. Anyway, so let's take a look at some of these. So I'm looking for basically some of the bigger names, bigger star players from mostly the Dick Perez years, but even within that, I'm mostly looking for 92, 93, 94. And so most of my pickups are going to fall in that range. Now, Bo Jackson doesn't have one from those span of years. And so here's a 90 Donruss Bo Jackson, which, just a beautiful, beautiful card with a beautiful autograph. I like his placement of it. It has the number on there, which tells me that it might be a playing days, an earlier one, not signed more recently. And so I love that he's depicted as a royal. Nothing against, being depicted as anything else. It's fine if he's on the Angels. But that being said, if I did encounter one that was a nice bold blue Sharpie instead of this ballpoint pen, would I consider upgrading this? Yeah, maybe. We'll have to see. Maybe. I'm not saying no. I love the card. I'm happy with it as it is, but if one with a beautiful bold blue Sharpie happened to fall in my lap, would I turn it down? I think probably not. So, had a really good chance to pick this one up. This next one is Larry Walker from 93. This was actually, I had a TTM return, but also at the same time I sent out the TTM, picked one up anyway that I was happy with, and got this back from a Beckett authentication order. And so really pleased with this one from 93, Diamond Kings. And I've shown these in videos before. This card, now I already had a 92 Frank Thomas Diamond King, but again, this one dropped in my lap. It was 94, this beautiful cracked ice. I love the contrast between the red cracked ice and this dark purple background and the bold blue auto, and it's fantastic. I couldn't say no. I saw this card. That's like, yeah, okay, we have to go for that. Love that big hurt. And then, ooh, baby. All right, now we get to this 93 Griffey, and tell me that's not the sweetest thing. Griffey's got a lot going on with his signature, and as much as I love a nice big bold beautiful blue Sharpie auto, it does it if it's a fatter pen, it tends to lose some definition. And I think with the signature like Griffey's being so intricate, I think that a thinner pen really works quite well. But boy, do I love this card. These don't pop up all that often. And you know what? It's funny too, because there was a 95 Diamond King that sold probably 2 months ago, a month and a half ago. 95 Griffey Diamond King that sold for like, I want to say $400. It really went sky high. I kind of thought it would be somewhere in the $250 range, and it surprised me because it finished way higher than I thought it was. Now that's a darker card than this one. I think this one to me is the one that really, well, I just think it's the greatest design of the Diamond Kings, the 92 to 94s. I think those are just the prettiest. And speaking of 93 Diamond Kings that are fantastic, of course, the Uber Grail that I was able to land somehow. This Kirby Puckett fell into my lap, and I am still pinching myself. I can't really believe that this card, again, was not on my list, was not on my goal list for the year when I set out, because I just assumed that there'd be no way for the price that this would cost. The opportunity cost wouldn't allow me to go for something like this. But here we are. I was able to snap this up right when it was listed as a very low buy it now, or what I think was a way too low buy it now, for $3.99. And so I didn't think about it for about 10 seconds. I was like, yep, we're just gonna hit the bin. We're gonna go for that. Okay, 2 more quick Diamond King autos I forgot to add in because they haven't yet been authenticated. I made mention to this in a Brothers Duo episode, but this is a 94 Mike Piazza that I picked up recently. It is a sticker auto, and it's kind of tough to see it here. I'm going to go ahead and zoom way in so you can kind of see it. The shape is about right, and I don't know where this sticker came from. I do not know the provenance of this, but the shape looks okay to me, and I just took a gamble on it. So we'll have to see when I eventually send this in to the next time Beckett has an authentication special or PSA or whoever it turns out to be. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can get this slabbed up and certified by one of those companies, or who knows, maybe JSA and CGC. So we'll see. So, but Piazza is a tough autograph to get. He's not on many on-card autos in the 90s. He's not in any of the Donruss signature sets or Leaf signature, or I mean, even a lot of the other, Topps autos, whatever, Bowman's Best, he's not in them. He's in a handful of very rare Upper Deck releases. But he's a tough guy to get. And this is also a really tough card to get signed. It's so dark everywhere, and you basically either have to sign it on the catcher's mask, which I have seen done before, or right over his name, which is, where they place the sticker. So generally, I don't do sticker autos, but I went ahead and made an exception for this one because I saw it. It appeared that a pretty, it was an attractive buy it now price, and for as uncommon as Piazza is to find, just like I made one exception with the Sammy Sosa that I have from 95 Diamond Kings, I went ahead and did the same thing here with this. And the Sosa turned out just fine. I'm keeping my fingers crossed on this one. And there's one other one that I picked up that was uncertified, which again, I usually don't do too often, but I felt pretty good about this one. And yeah, Jeff Bagwell. Now, I do have his Triple Play Gallery of Stars, or and which is the yellow one with the 91 Rookie of the Year inscription on it. That was the Treat Pro one, which is Brooks Robinson's company. But this is even a more beautiful auto in a beautiful bold blue pen. Again, this is taking a chance. I don't know 100% for sure if it's it looked good to me. Usually my batting average is pretty good. Taking risks like this, so I don't advise too many people to do that, particularly in light of the big forgery ring that's been exposed recently. But yeah, this seemed like it was good enough to me. Again, the boldness of the auto and the location of the placement of this, it really doesn't get much better than that. And so I was thinking about Brent Richards when I think about cards like this. But yeah, just wanted to add those last two in, to the regularly scheduled video for that. So I'm again making some pretty good progress here. And again, I'm kind of picky when it comes to these. I do want the autograph to be nice and bold, not very streaky. I don't want it to cover their faces. So I'm a little bit exacting in some of my specifications of what I look for in some of these autographs. And so I will wait, and try to wait for the ones that I'm really trying to target. The ones I have left from 93, I'm really looking for a nice Roberto Alomar, which is on a beautiful, orangish background, and so a blue auto would just jump right off of that thing and look amazing. An Eddie Murray, I had an 84 Eddie Murray that I really liked, but when I realized that he had one from 93 in a Mets uniform, I want to say, that's the one I really want. And so I went ahead and moved along the 84. And then Craig Biggio, which is probably going to be the toughest one of those three to land. He just doesn't sign much, but I would love to get the Biggio there. Another one that I would really, really like from 94, and this is going to be maybe approaching the difficulty of this one. I would love, love, love and 94 Tony Gwynn, like this. It also has this beautiful orange background, and I've seen it with a beautiful bold Sharpie over top of it, and that's a card I would pay up for something like that. Very tough to find. I don't know how many of those are out there. Really don't know. I've seen an image of one. I know someone in the Diamond King group who has one that is phenomenal looking. I'm gonna try to find that picture and put it up on the screen for you. But that would be huge. And then the last two really big Diamond Kings I'm looking for are Barry Bonds, who Barry Bonds has a 91, and he also has a 94, like this. Now again, good luck. Good luck finding one of those autographed as an alternative. And I would prefer the 94 over the 91. I'm not that crazy about the 91 design, to be honest with you. And I've seen a lot of really bad fakes out there that are just horrible, and so, it would have to be probably slabbed up. I'm not going to mess with someone like Bonds, trying to grade it, trying to get it ungraded or uncertified and just take my chance. No, I'm not going to do that. Something else that could happen, though, is that Bonds has a beautiful 93 triple play Gallery of Stars, which is also some really great Dick Perez artwork, and it's also a lighter card. The 94 is a bit dark, and it'd be tough to find a good spot on it for him to sign it. Actually, I just realized I have, let me grab this real quick. I actually have a jumbo. Here's a jumbo of 94 Diamond King Bonds, and so, it's kind of there's not really a great spot for an autograph. I mean, maybe up the side here, but again, on a regular trading card sized card, is that big enough to fit his auto? I don't really know. So maybe something like a paint pen or something right across here would be great. I don't know. I don't exactly know where, or even if he'd sign the back, he could sign the back somewhere right across the, here or up here. I don't know, somewhere down here would be fine. I don't know. I wouldn't be against that either. But this card to get signed would be fantastic. That would be just about perfect. Put that back. And of course, the last Diamond King, the last really big one that I would need would be the 82 Rickey Henderson that I did sell, about, I don't know, 6-7 months ago. That I don't regret selling it, because I know that I'll have a chance to get that back. I know that those aren't like absolutely absurdly rare, like this one. And in fact, there's one listed on eBay right now. Now, they have it listed for 600 Canadian currently, which is way too high. They offered me 500 Canadian for it, which is still too high. But yeah, at some point, when one does come up for auction, and I'll certainly look at reacquiring something like that. So that's my collecting progress so far this year. Those are the 4 big branches of my collecting bonsai tree. That's where I've been focusing most of my browsing, my pickups, and I am just kind of overwhelmed looking at all this right here, all these amazing cards that I've just been able to acquire. These shouldn't be able to find their way into my collection like they are, but I've had a fantastic, just an unbelievable first half of the year. And I really just can't believe, how fortunate I am to have landed, these cards that I've been able to get. So really pleased, really happy with the way that this year has started. Like I said, I think from here, I'm going to be slowing down a little bit, because, I mean, for me anyway, these are some big cards. These are the biggest ones I have in my collection pretty much. And, or they're approaching it. So yeah, so thank you for watching. If you happen to have or know of anyone who has some of those cards I am targeting, please let me know. I'm up to working. I'm open to working out trades. Like I said, I worked out a trade for the Mirror Red this year already, and so I'm I'm open to suggestions about trades or partial cash trade deals. All right, so thank you for coming along with me. Thank you for sharing in my joy of my pickups, and I will see you in the next video.